Welcome back to Two Wheels. We're talking Marc Marquez again. I mean, it seems to be once a year, if not more, about these retirement rumours at the moment. But this one's quite interesting. Yes, it is a rumour, if I'm honest, but Carlo Pernat has heard Marc Marquez had asked for a retirement clause in his 2027 Ducati contract. I don't think I've ever heard that before, a retirement clause. So he's heard that Marc Marquez asked Ducati to include a clause in his new contract for the 2027 MotoGP season, as in next season. His future with the crew has been a big topic of conversation so far in 2026, especially at the beginning when he wasn't doing as well as everyone thought. But as we know, that Aprilia bike is absolutely amazing. It is the best bike, albeit MotoGP is still very, very close. When you look at the differences in qualifying, we're talking tenths, aren't we? He's at paper to be a free agent at the end of the season. On paper, but penned to only a 2-year contract to step up to the factory Ducati team from Gresini in 2025. We're still talking about Marc Marquez, and it says now, it's widely said that Marquez has already signed a new Ducati contract for 27 and 28, albeit it's not confirmed, but it's widely suspected, let's say. Now, after thrashing out the terms for his continuation, this I imagine probably would have been before his whoops-a-daisy accident in Le Mans, and Ducati will not confirm the Spaniard's deal until the MotoGP constructors sign a new collective commercial agreement. As we know, there's a lot going on in backstage of MotoGP, but part of the sticking point in negotiations was believed to be Marco's desire for a 1+1 year contract. That means there's a get-out clause at the end of the year. It could either be, so you sign on for 1 year, and you sign on for another year on a proviso that you both, for example, have an agreement into that other year. It may well be that the clause is only in Marquez's contract. He can stop that contract after 2027, so he stops in 2027, doesn't need to do it in 2028. It may also be that Ducati also have that clause saying, if you're not good enough, we will not sign you for 2028 as well. I don't know, but as it says here, it would give Marquez the option to leave at the end of 27 if he cannot battle for race wins and the title. And with these new CC engines. So Pernat now suggests that Marquez has even asked Ducati to include an option in his contract for 2027. That's going to also let him retire from MotoGP at the end of 2026. My apologies, without facing any type of consequences. So that is also the clause. I think he can retire in 2026. So he's got the 1+1, that 1+1 deal if he wants it. That's the rumour. So he has options to retire in 26 and 2027, should he wish. He even suspects that Ducati are planning for the possibility. Now, with the threat of Marquez walking away, following yet, sadly, another injury hanging over Ducati, Pernat suspects that the crew might delay placing Nicola Bulega at VR46 for 2027, which may see Honda's Luca Marini rejoin VR46 instead. It's funny, isn't it? When you've got all these wheels in motion, all these cards in play. If you remember musical chairs, for example, it only takes one person to go out to absolutely affect the whole thing. And Pernat said, well, they might bring Marini back in. Yeah, potentially. So Marini thinks it's more likely to go to VR46 and Beluga, even though Nicola absolutely deserves a MotoGP ride. But Ducati might have considered him, it says, as a wild card, especially since Marc Marquez, let's be fair, he does have a huge question mark currently. He said, I wish I could be in his head. I think Marc is seriously starting to think about saying enough. Also because of the certain commitments and not having a second to breathe. Guys, this guy's seen hell, burned through everything there was to burn and managed to fly to heaven. He has been through a lot. That being said, he said Bezzecchi happened, which he had nothing to do with, and it also destroyed him mentally. He'd been sidelined, now he's been sidelined again with surgery, and damn it, it's only natural to wonder if it's time to quit. In his 2-year contract with Ducati, he apparently specifically asked for 0 penalties if he decided to quit. He'll want to try because he knows that the new regulations, the rider will count more, and he's the strongest of all. And I think, me personally, I think he will go. He won't retire at the end of this year. He'll come back at some point, and we'll get into that in a bit, and he will contest the 2027 season. But if he realises, he said, he can't fight to win, I think he'll say enough. If he goes on like this, he might get so peed off that he'll tire before he even tries. Even on Sunday, seeing your brother smashing it into the wall like that definitely makes you think a little more. So yeah, I think that's quite interesting. But talking about his recovery, the Ducati rider is continuing his rehab after his surgery. This is from GP1 on his right shoulder and aims to return as early as the Italian Grand Prix in 2 weeks. That's absolutely insane, isn't it? I mean, what on earth is that? That's just crazy. He's back in the news following the Catalan Grand Prix, though off track this time. And this is the Marquez variety. The Ducati rider posted a photo on social media where he's smiling as he undergoes physical therapy for his right shoulder. I believe this is the photo here. Smiling. Yeah. Why wouldn't he, though? The Spanish rider, who he wasn't present in Barcelona, seems to be sending a clear message. His recovery is going well, and a return in 2 weeks at Mugello is no longer out of the question. That's insane. Marquez has undergone surgery for his 5th digit of his right foot, but the real issue was his shoulder. He explained that he didn't want to rush things, recalling the mistakes he made after his 2020 injury. I mean, but let's be honest, he's kind of going against that. He is rushing things if he's going to come back as soon, as the end of May. Next week, the rider will undergo a medical checkup in Madrid to assess his shoulder. If he receives the green light from the doctors, he'll begin intensive training and attempt to ride again before Mugello on the 31st of May. If further precautions are needed, his return could be postponed until he'll be able to ride the Hungarian circuit on June the 7th, which is considered physically less demanding. Yeah, it absolutely is. So, is he going to retire this year? No, I don't think. I don't think Marquez is going to retire this year whatsoever. But there we go. But until then, we'll speak to you soon. Thank you very much. If you are not subscribed, because I imagine you probably are if you're watching this, we don't have many subscribers, but please consider subscribing to this show. We pretty much we try. I try and do a video every day, capturing the MotoGP news. So come along with us for the ride, and I would really appreciate that. But until then, we'll speak to you soon. Thank you very much, and above all else, hang in.